I definitely do feel like there's some aspect of um, how Black women operate, but Black culture in general, both men and women, that needs to change. But to the point, I don't believe there's something drastically negative with Black women that needs to change that are problems other women do not have. I don't believe there's something especially crazy, negative, and awful about Black women that you just never find in Latino women or white women or Dominican women or whatever. We have to take a serious, authentic look at why this keeps occurring. Because I feel like at this point we've had, multiple generations of black men who feel this way. This is not really a new phenomenon because there's so much more social media and everything's on video and it's easy to see everything. Maybe it's become a lot more prominent, but this idea that Black men get successful, get famous, get rich, and then do not date other Black women is not new. And I think the question has to be asked, why do we keep producing Black men who think and feel this way? One obvious answer is the lack of Black fathers in the household, because these Black men should be there to teach these young brothers how to treat women, how to deal with women, and to have respect for all women and see the beauty in all women, right? Because a lot of these guys, they just don't respect women, period. When Kodak Black says these women are too strong, I want a woman I can break, that's disrespectful towards Black women, but really it's disrespectful towards all women, because he's saying, if I can't break you, I don't want anything to do with you, which shows that I don't see you as a real person. So who's telling these brothers how to actually interact with women and deal with them? But the larger issue that I feel like a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it's readily apparent, is why is it that Black women are raising these Black men to not respect Black women? When you look at what's happening in our communities right now and how these boys are coming up, they're coming up in single parent households. They're going to schools where the majority of teachers are women. Most of their role models, let's be honest, are women. The amount of solid, stable Black men who present themselves as role models in our community, it's few and far between. So really, these Black men are coming up with the majority of their major influences being Black women. I do agree with Jason, where once it becomes clear that other people can get something out of them, where if you're an athlete or someone of that sort, and you go to a college and they see, oh, okay, there's a way we can get money out of you, there's definitely a push to try to push you towards a different culture and say, you should be dating this white woman and you should be running in these circles, and this is how you're really going to get ahead. I get all that, but 18 years before that young brother got to college, the majority of his influences were Black women, and he did not respect Black women before he got to college. And so I feel like the question needs to be asked, why is that? How can you come up through a system where most of the people who are taking care of you and are raising you and are influencing you and are standing up for you are Black women, and yet at the same time, you have very little respect for Black women and definitely don't feel like that's the kind of person you should be dating or marrying? And I don't feel like we've really dealt with that as a culture.
You would literally have to kind of delve into the background of some of these people who are making the statements, and just to kind of see where they're coming from and what it is that they're doing as they're being raised. Because I don't think it's something that you just make a split decision on, obviously. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it could be. It could be a brother just trying to make headlines, just like the linebacker dude. I think he was just saying something to say something to try and be some kind of relevant. Right. And it didn't turn out well for him.
How could you see what Jill Scott does with a mic in her hand and not understand how sexy she is?
Had I have been in the room with the dude when he said that, I probably would have slapped him.
Okay. So I got One last question regarding this subject. All three of us are married to Black women. I'd like each of you to speak on why you made that choice. Did you consciously want a Black woman? Did she just so happen to be Black? And kind of reflect on your decision a little bit. Do you feel like your marriage is somehow different in some way, specifically because you are married to a Black woman? Hudson, you want to start it? Oh, Jason. You have Jason. Go ahead.
Okay. Um, Personally, it was never like, I don't even really think it was a real thought behind it. I love Black women. I've had my experiences and I've had relationships with women outside of Black women and stuff, but I always knew that I was going to marry a Black woman because I love Black women. I love the way they look. I love their style. I love their attitudes. I love everything about them. And when I met my wife, it was just, I mean, it wasn't even kind of like a black thing. It was just when I saw the biggest smile on her face, and I was like, ooh, I want to get to know her. And I did. It turns out she was a little nuts and whatnot, but apparently I was I have subconsciously I was arranged to have a crazy woman, and that's fine. That's what I'm all about. I dig it and whatnot because my life I'm happy with what I have, and I'm happy that we've been building the life that we've been building.
Yeah, so for me, it's interesting. I kind of had to go through a progression. When I was a kid, it was hammered into my head, you must marry a Black woman. My mother was absolutely sick to her stomach of seeing all these successful brothers marrying and uplifting white women. And she was disgusted at the idea of her son being one of those people. And I was homeschooled as a child. I was shut in a lot of times, so I didn't have much exposure to white women. So the only white women I saw were the ones on TV, and I never found myself attracted to them because I'm not attracted to women who are really thin, really frail, and that's most of what I would see on TV. So I never worried about it. Like, oh, it's going to be easy for me to marry a Black woman because clearly these other women are unattractive. But then I actually got out to the world, went to college, and started meeting women of all sorts of different cultures. And I had to make a decision. Okay, clearly I like women across the spectrum, and my mother's just going to have to deal with that. So I was prepared to have that conversation with her. Like, Ma, I'm going to introduce this girl to you. You're going to be nice because this is someone I love, and you want to be able to see your grandchildren. So be easy, be cool. But you all know I met my wife when I was 16 years old in college. And I made the decision right when I saw her, this is someone I want to have in my life. It was pretty much immediate. I didn't think about it in terms of her being Black. It was what really attracted me to Samantha was her intelligence. From the moment I started talking with her, I could see her intelligence and her drive. I've never been a super ambitious person. I don't have all these huge dreams and goals and things that I want to do. And from the first time I met her, she came across as someone to me who had a real vision for what she wanted her life to be. She had some clear laid out goals and some things that she was determined to do. And she was not going to allow anybody to stand in the way of her being able to do those things. And I found that to be very, very attractive in a woman. And so for me, it was that immediate connection, and that connection has never weakened in all the time that I've known her.